Hello everyone, this is Cypher Deck,
And I'm AC Gamer.
and we are back in Project 1999 Non-Permadeath.
Yeah, I hope not, or I hope so, because I do not want to delete this guy. This guy has some really good equipment on, and I've spent a little bit of money on him, so I'm not that rich.
Yeah.
I don't want to delete him.
Plus you twinked him, and that's against the bylaws, you would have been kicked out already, just saying.
This guy doesn't mind going alone. In fact, he's still without a guild. One day I'm going to get him in somewhere. I'm just not quite sure where his home's going to be right now. I do want to get him to do some raiding. If you guys have suggestions out there of zones that you would like to see me raid, let me know, because I've done Tower of Frozen Shadows as far as going in there with like a mini raid. We've done TOV, we've done Kale. In fact, I missed the last Kale raid that they had for the open server. Tell us a little bit about that, sir, because I know you were here. I'm kind of bummed out that I wasn't able to go.
Well, you want me to just do the nice, clean, it was nice, it was good, or do you want me to tell you the truth?
Tell us the truth, but you're way too fast. You left me in the dust.
Yeah, you should be a little bit ahead in front of me. Did I outrun you?
Oh, yeah, like an hour ago.
Oh.
I'm trying.
So what ended up happening is we were doing well. We had probably 128 people in there, to be exact. And we decided, okay, it's time to pull Vindy. We need to clear the Temple Guardians and everything. Everybody knew what the situation was. And then we had this puller named, should I name him? I mean,
that's completely up to you. I mean,
let's just say that there was a lizard that was pulling, and he Ixar, and went ahead and pulled Vindy with the Temple Guardians straight to the raid. And then, by the way, he during Paradox raids, if you don't know, they will instantly invite you into the guild. So he was in their guild after he pulled Vindy and the Temple Guardians to the raid, and everyone wiped. We noticed that he complained a little bit. We complained about it, and then next thing you know, he's back in Aftermath. So, yeah.
You think he was like a little spy or something coming over there to kind of ruin the raid, or you think he was just playing around and didn't realize what he was doing?
To be honest, I don't know. I have to think he was. If you remember, not long ago, we had that Paradox raid coming up, and Vindy was killed.
Yeah,
so.
and I remember Aftermath kind of had a little hand to play in that one too, but the one thing you can say, because you can say a lot about some of these top-end guilds, they don't really let people in that don't know how to play. So at first, when you were telling me the situation, it kind of sounded like maybe just a new player who was going in and getting in over his head and pulling things that he wasn't sure about. But then when you tell me that he's an Aftermath, that immediately tells me that he knows what he's doing, because they just don't let in any, new kid off the block kind of thing, right?
He knew exactly what he was doing, because he pulled back, and then you just see him swing right towards the thing to the people, and then fade death.
And I guess
I was on my show night. Luckily, I was trying to get the Vindy breastplate, and ended up feigning death right as soon as I saw that thing happen. And I even said he did that on purpose.
And they can't get you for training because you're in the guild that you trained.
Right.
So like that's kind of sneaky that he did it that way, but it's very clever at the same time, because he knows the rules, and he was able to kind of skate that line and then join back over. And the fact that he was able to get an immediate invite back into his old guild pretty much tells you everything. But I don't know. You got to take the good with the bad. There's good people on the server. There's bad people on the server. You'll find a lot more of the bad ones when you start going into the higher end raid. You're going to find that on no matter what game you play. In fact, you're going to find that at lower levels too on pretty much any other game but this one. So, I mean, if you look at things, all things considered, this game still has the best community that I've ever found in any game, just because it's not toxic all the way through. Like, it's good at level 1 through 60 until you get into raids. And then once you get into raids,
then it becomes.
I won't say it's completely toxic, because it's not. Like, we've done raids and we've had a good time. Other people have done open raids and you've had a good time. But there is that aspect of it. There is that group of people out there that's very, very. Yeah, you don't want to be around them. You don't want to do anything with them, kind of thing. So hopefully we don't run into any more of those. I'm still kind of sad that I missed it, because I really do like going out there, and it's still always fun, even if like you don't get to kill Vindy, just because you get to hang out with new players. And there's so much conversation of people asking questions because they've never done a raid before, and that's a cool experience to be part of, like to help them out. When I first came back to this game after being gone for like 10 years, I eventually got up to the point where I could do a raid, and my first raid back was with Blackheart Pirates going to the Plane of Air, and I was nervous, man. Like, I recorded the entire video, and I wasn't sure what I was doing, and I didn't want to make any mistakes, and I knew you could like wipe the whole thing. So yeah, I was super nervous about it, and it's kind of cool to get that feeling back. And when I see other people going through that, it just kind of makes me a little giddy to know that I can help them get back into the rhythm and enjoy the game like it was meant to be played. So that's what Kale's always been for.
We ended up finally getting him, but it was after another wipe, because people who ended up feigning death during the first wipe didn't queue out, and then other people who camped during the thing were coming back in too early. So people were it was just a nonstop dive fest for the first 30 minutes after that pull. It was a wave of death.
It's a pickup rate. You know, you're bound to have people, like I said, that people coming back that just don't know any better, or, you know, have forgotten all that stuff.
When we pulled Vindy for the first real time, whenever we had him by himself, nobody was listening. Nobody would pay attention to the fact that don't attack until assist is called. Nothing. And then finally, Bunny came up and said, "Look, if you guys don't listen, we're going to end it right here. We're not going to do Vindy." And so everybody started listening.
And that's really vital too, guys. If you've never been part of a raid before, especially for mobs that hit that hard or are very hard to control, just giving the tank an extra 20, 30, 60 seconds. It may seem like a long time, and indeed it is a long time for the clerics to be able to heal that one person, but it is completely and totally worth it, because once the warrior, and I say warrior as the tank, because in big raids, it's almost always a warrior. Once the warrior has aggro, he very rarely ever loses it. But until he gets that, it can bounce around so easily between people, and once it starts bouncing around, it is almost impossible to get that aggro back, because people are already on the hate list, and it just affects all that kind of stuff. So you really do just give that guy a chance. Give him a little bit of time to get that aggro, and sit back and watch. I mean, you're not risking anything of your own life. If the warrior dies, chances are it's just going to be him and like all the clerics, and you should be fine. So, you know, don't be in too big of a rush.
Yeah, the thing is that you gotta also think that this tank who's holding an aggro, he's throwing his DA up or whatever his combat ability is, and so you're wasting his DA, or it's not a DA, it's avoidance or whatever it's called. You're wasting that whenever you're pulling mobs off of him. So, especially whenever it's a Vindy fight. So, it kind of gets annoying really fast. I probably should have taken that other way, but I think this is the way.
Oh yeah, this is fast.
But yeah, I know that people want to just get to the main fight, get the mob dead, but you can't get the mob dead if everyone else is dying around it.
Well, it's different though, because if you're in a group, I can't think of any group that I've ever been in where the group waits 10, 15, 20, 60 seconds for the tank to get aggro before they jump in. You just jump in right away.
That's true.
But raiding is a whole nother beast all by itself. And that's what those open raids are for, guys. I mean, you kind of come in, you may not be as knowledgeable, but you ask questions. You pass me back, man. Come on, catch up.
Oh, man, I'm sorry.
Nah, that's all right. You know, I'm a fat little dude. I've been hunted over in Highhold Keep. And while I was over there, I picked up a lot of fine still, and I couldn't sell any of it. So I am carrying like an extra 100 pounds that I need to sell, hopefully over here at the ring when we get there. And I also have like 900 plat on me, so that's, you know, a little bit of weight there. And my guy's already a pig, anyways. He has a sandwich in one hand, and you know, no, I'm just kidding, guys. But he is he's a little hefty, guys. He likes to eat. And I should have made this guy a cook, but I don't think he'd ever get any of the ingredients into the oven. Like, he doesn't care if it's cooked or not. He's just gonna eat it raw.
Truth.
But no, me and Cypher were talking about his No Time to Die or No Time to Res guild, where you're not allowed to die at all, otherwise you have to delete your character. And I had a viewer come on telling, most of you guys probably recognize, he has done the graphics for the sky and some of the particle effects and things of that sort. He was telling me about a quest that is going on in the game right now because the sleeper has been awoken. And every time I say the sleeper has been awoken, I think of Dune. But yeah, it was over there in South Karanas at the Centaur camp. You can talk to him. One of the Centaurs over there, and I forgot what his name is, but I did record it on my last stream. You give him 3 gold, he gives you a sack of supplies, and you take that sack one zone across over to North Karanas and turn it into a guy inside of a little tiny hut, and he gives you anywhere from 1 to 3 plat plus a whole bunch of experience. And you can do that at level 1 because it's just picking the item up and transferring it, or you can do that all the way up until level 24 where you get decent experience, about 2 to 3% per turn in. And it takes you a total of maybe 3 minutes each way if you have Spirit of Wolf, and if you can bind and gate, then even less than that. Did you need to stop and hit start again? Because I know you...
Oh no, I'm good. I've been doing it. I've been taking care of it.
But yeah, it's a really good quest to do, fun and kind of relaxing because you're not killing any mobs. And I was telling Cypher, you know, any of you guys who ever watched the TV show, the anime show, Sword Art Online, where they get sucked into the computer and they're playing the VR thing, and if they die in the game, they die in real life. That's, I don't know if these guys are going to attack me. No, they didn't. All right, so that sort of thing is, in fact, let me go back. I'm going to get some bandages. That sort of thing is definitely what I'd be doing in a game if I was even remotely concerned of not dying. I could just sit over there and do a very, very easy quest. Like I said, there's a few mobs in North Karanas that you might have to worry about. Some of the griffins, there's a little low-level tigers. Once you get into your, like, teens, the tigers really aren't a concern anymore. But if you went over there at, like, a level 1, you'd have to worry about that. I would just... you know, make sure you have the gold to start the quest. You need at least 3 gold, and then from then on, you have all you need. But once you get that, you do the quest 4 or 5 times, go off and buy yourself some Spirit of Wolf potions, because you're allowed to do that in that guild. If you have the money, you can buy the stuff you want.
Yep.
And then you could do the quest even faster, make money faster, make experience faster, and if anything attacks you along the way, you should be able to get away from it. So I think it's very doable for your guild. I don't know what you guys think about that, though.
Well,
do you think Baby
Yeah, I think it's fine, actually. And one of the things we've been finding is that people who get to around level 10 are usually already at least 50 plat in their bank because of the bone chip cells, or there's a rat quest that you can do in Caledon that you kill this metal rat, you turn it in the other part of Caledon, and it will allow you to go to Ocean of Tears and turn it in for bronze armor at level 4. So it's a really good quest line to do, and I know Memo, that's what he started with. Go right into the lava.
You need to get some of that stink off anyway. This guy's never taken a shower, so it's good for him.
But yeah, Memo started doing that quest, and then I'm now at, if I can sell the javelins I made, I'm close to 150, or not 150, 250 plat now. Oh, hello.
Now the bronze armor you're talking about, is it sized based off of the person who turns it in?
No, it gives you a random piece of armor, and it could be bronze, it could be ringmail, it could be anything.
But I mean, on the size, is it made for, is it small, medium, large? Can the ogres wear it, or is it all small?
No, it's everything.
Everything. So you have a chance of getting large or small.
Piece of armor that's a random size.
Okay, well that's not too bad. I mean, it sucks that it's completely and totally random in every aspect, but at least there's a chance. You know, big races can still get the armor and wear it. Because if you go over to Unrest, it's a great zone. Don't get me wrong, but the armor that used to drop there was bronze, but it was all small. You'd have to go to Najina to get the large bronze that dropped there. So doing this quest. It's kind of cool. I mean, it's a long trip, but...
Well, you can sell the bronze, too, that you get, or whatever kind of armor it is, and then just wear what you can wear.
Right. But you don't make as much money when you sell those things as if you were trying to buy them.
Yeah, that's true.
But still, like that's a quest I never knew about. There's a quest that I found when I was running through Lake Wrath, just kind of checking it out with my necromancer for shamans. You bring, I think it's chain or plate, something along those lines. It was super cheap, whatever it was. You bring that over to them, and when I looked the quest up, it's a little bit more detailed than what the NPC was implying. The NPC just basically said, bring me like the chain armor, and I give you a new plate for your shaman. The quest online says you need a few extra pieces. Some of them are outside in different areas. So it kind of took me back to the old days of playing EverQuest and just being completely befuddled with a quest that says, go get me this. You bring it back, and it's not what he wants. So you have to figure that out the old-fashioned way of just trial and error.
One of the good things about the guild is that if you want to learn a class, I mean, if you really want to learn it, you don't even have to be in our guild. Make that class, do our rules, and every time you die, you'll learn something new about it. Because that's exactly how this whole thing works, is that you will learn really quickly how to do things. Oh boy. Okay.
Man. So we got two shamans, which is gonna be rough because they're gonna slow me down here in a second. Yeah, we meet in zone.
I'm gonna go ahead and I'm mezzing one right now.
You want to zone it or?
Yeah, I'd say zone it.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and this one that I've done, I'm gonna go ahead and kill his pet.
Yeah, it was a little too much. I saw the shaman on the right. I didn't realize there was another one down the hall to the left already spawned. And this one spot right here is a great place to kill if you can break it. And sometimes you're just very unlucky. Sometimes all the mobs here are just regular kobolds, straight up even, you know, kind of combat melee fight. And then other times you get really, really unlucky. Same thing in like Lower Guck. You'll get some wizards in there, definitely shamans, and they will just eat your face with a monk down there. It's not good. So this is it's gonna be a little bit more of a wait. Now I'm gonna go ahead and start binding my way in while Cypher zones out, and we will zone back here in a second.
Yep, I'm gonna go ahead and start doing the heals song, just so we can get you back up. And I should probably pull just because I can lull.
All right, I'll let you do it.
And I'll pet pull, which so that I can kill the shaman's pet. Just makes it easier for us.
I'm so used to having to pull with my warrior just because I've been playing this guy. You know, either a little bit solo, like, you know, in Lower Guck, it's a good spot. I did it with my monk, and I loved it. This guy doesn't do it nearly as well because he gets rooted a lot. Now, do you find with your monk, or not with your monk, with your bard, you're able to kind of negate that a little bit with some of your spells or your songs? Or do you find when you get rooted, you're just kind of as effed as the rest of us?
Oh yeah, well I have tricks I can do. I can mez, I can slow them, I can fear them, I can make them my pet, just so that they'll stop hitting me, that kind of stuff.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you've fought in Lower Guck, right?
At
the entrance, you soloed there before?
Yep.
So you know what it's like when they root you, and they always root you right before they run. Like, it never fails. Every single time before they run, they try to root you. And if they get it off, that's when they start running away. So, like, when that situation happened, what kind of songs would you have to throw in there? Do you have a root? Do you have a... I guess maybe mez? You could mez it right before it runs away?
Yeah. Mez it, or I... you mean in a situation where it's running away, or...
Yeah, it's running away while you're rooted.
Oh, yeah. I have a snare song. I always keep a snare song while I'm grouping. That way I can make sure that it never gets away. Of course, they resist.
Because when that happens with the warrior, like you're just dead. You're not going to survive that one. So I finally ended up having to leave over there and come over to Soul B. I actually went to High Pass for a little while just to see if I could kill some of the guards over there. I think I waited too long. Like, I'm 40 right now, and when I went in there, the guards at the entrance, the ones that I prefer to kill because it's kind of wide open, my head doesn't hit the ceiling, and I'm not crouching, which means I can actually swing my weapon. They're all green. Now, they're still giving me experience being green, so they're basically like blue mobs. But even with that said, they're not great experience. So if I had gotten there maybe at level 35 would have been a good spot. I don't know if a warriors can kill there at 35.
Yeah, probably 35 would have been better. And there are other mobs, I can't remember where they're at, that you can keep continuing to kill past that level. I think they're on the not on the floor with the nobles, but above that floor, I think, is where you can kill as well.
Yeah, there's a third floor. I think Super Bits and Bob did a video up there with his shaman who he's killing, and they were blue to him. Again, the problem is my guy's big, and he's not able to really get up there. And I've been trying to avoid using shrink potions, just because they weren't in the game originally when the game first came out. Now, they did start adding uber items in there like the bracer, but that was not 100% classic. And I'm not against using those items. I think that's more of a cop-out of me just being like, I'm poor and I don't have the money to buy those items. So I'm trying to justify why I'm not using them. But yeah, I'm trying to maybe try a little bit more of the original content and go to zones that would be where you would normally see a lot of ogres, because that was definitely a thing. You would see a lot of certain classes in zones, and other classes would never really go there. Same thing with like Howling Stones. You have necromancers as like the de facto. You go into that zone, you do a who-all, and there's like 15 necromancers and nobody else. Like, that's not uncommon to see. I want to know where the ogres are hanging out. Like, where would you go if you're an ogre?
At what level?
Any level. Like, where would be the hangout for ogres, in your opinion?
Well, City, or not City Mouse, but Kazakh is my hangout. That's where I used to hang out on my ogre.
That would make sense, because even the maze is really tall, so you're not going to have to crouch. I went there, I soloed a little bit there with my warrior. I do like the temple. I need to go back there and actually do some of the Avatar of War, or Avatar of Fear. Every time we went there to kill that guy, or to try to group in that spot, it's been camped by a high level that's just sitting there for... I don't know what he's camping, actually. There's not really any great items off of him anymore.
It's a potion that drops not on the Avatar of Fear, but the one of the mobs that's right below him.
Isn't super rare? Like, really, really rare?
Yeah. That's why they're there all the time. And they kill the Avatar of Fear whenever he spawns as well.
Hey, you know, why not? He's there. You might as well get a little bit of loot while you're at it. He dropped some claws that I think were, kind of fun to play around with. And I don't think there was anything else really other than maybe a piece of armor, like Raven Scale, right? Like a chance at boots or something?
Yeah, Raven Scale breastplate.
Oh, okay. There
is what he drops.
Which, pretty nice. It's a pretty nice piece, but... how many rogues out there don't already have that? Yeah.
Well, a lot of rogues, I would think. Or they have better now.
Rogues always seem to be the most outfitted class that I've seen around. Of course, there's always people coming to the game brand new that just don't have any gear at all. And I went through that on my very first tune. You guys go back and watch my cleric's journey. He was boring bronze until like level 28, 29. And then I got really lucky. I had somebody swing on by... not because I was doing videos, but just because, the community is so nice. Somebody swung on by and gave me a robe that I could throw onto my guy. And he wore that until, like, his early 50s, maybe? I mean, he was really very untwinked.
All right, get ready for this guy.
Yeah, we should be able to kick this guy's butt. As soon as it breaks. That's a long charm, man.
Yeah, I used my instrument for it.
Let me see if I can get back into the habit of playing this guy. I've been playing my Necro quite a bit lately. I'm loving him. I definitely like the feel of being so uber that I can take on whatever mob that I feel like if I want to risk it. And it's all about my skill, my determination, my tactics, what I'm putting into it. You know, I keep saying mine, but that's what soloing is. Like, you have nobody else to rely on but yourself. So different from a group. In a group, you got to rely on other people. You're supposed to rely on other people, and it makes it fun. Oh, I'm blind now, so if he runs away, I can't see anything.
He won't run away.
But yeah, you're supposed to rely on other people, and it's really good experience. But I don't know. You've done some soloing, right?
Oh yeah, that's all I did with my Micromancer.
How do you feel about it, man? Like the differences. Oh, we got a mob coming. Sorry about that.
No problem.
The differences between the two versus grouping and soloing. Would you say that you prefer one over the other, or do you just like the fact that they're so vastly different from one another?
It really just depends on the day.
Like the mood that you're in?
Yeah.
I could see that, yeah.
Alright, I'm gonna try to keep this guy slowed. And I'm lagging.
It's alright, I think we got this guy. Now, there is a trick that somebody told me that I could use, and I've tried it in Lower Guck when I was soloing. And the trick is to create a hot button. I actually have the hot button up here somewhere. I think it's called Fight. So what it does is you target yourself, and then you do ability, whatever the ability is for Bind Wound, and then you stand, and then target the enemy and attack. And what that does is, as long as you don't move, if you have your back to a wall, so the enemy cannot move you in any way, shape, or form, you will do your Bind Wound, stand up in the fight, start attacking, and finish Binding Wound while you're attacking the mob. So you get, you know, 1-2% not experience, 1-2% life back in the middle of the fight, and you can do that 5 or 6 times in a normal fight. You do lose a little bit of time in that fight because you're not attacking when you're Binding Wound when you first initially start it, but it seems to actually work out fairly decently. So if you're soloing, that might be something that you give a shot to. It also helps to level up your Bind Wound skill. My Bind Wound skill is, I think, like 170, 180 already. And
nice.
That's, you know, from what I hear, like with Thum, with his warrior, he's been stuck at like 198, so I'm not looking forward to getting to that point. But, you know, the alternative is just to go sit in a lava puddle, so I'm kind of glad that I'm doing it as I level.
Yeah, I mean, you need that 200, so you can do the 70%. But leveling it sucks.
Oh, I know why I didn't have any bandages on this guy. I had a very, very good friend, Yato, that came out while we were in Tower of Frozen Shadows, and he did not need his dagger for summoning the bandages, so he gave that to me, and now I don't need to buy anymore. I can just use that weapon. I completely forgot that I had it because I haven't played in like 2 weeks now, and I just got a little message on my phone saying Sirkin just went live on Twitch. So,
oh really?
Yeah, I wish I was watching. I wish I could see what's going on over there because he hasn't streamed in a long time. But yeah, guys, he's putting out a new video. If you guys have not catched it already or caught it, yeah, if you have not catched it, guys, English. If you have not caught the video, yeah, go check him out. Great content always from him, and I'm glad to see him back and playing and doing his thing. Although, you know, who knows what he's doing right now? He may not be having a good time. He may be banning half the server for some crazy stuff. Or he just may be walking around, you know, skeleton bombing people. Because last time I was in East Common Tunnels, I zoned in and everybody was a gnome. So that was kind of cool. I don't know if it was him or not. But somebody did it, some GM. So we were able to take on 2 mobs there, a shaman and a regular kobold, before we had to kind of sit down and heal up. We don't have medding going on because neither one of us has any mana to speak of. But still, like, this is not too bad. How much experience did you get off of that? Did you get a couple?
Oh, I get probably about 2 to 4% per kill.
And when you have a smaller group, it seems like you get more experience. I could have swore it was different back in the day. I could have swore Sony gave you more experience for grouping. Like there was a group bonus experience modifier. Even considering the fact that you may have a Shadow Knight in there that gives negative amounts of experience to the whole group because of his class and his race, there was still more experience to be had with a group than by yourself. But maybe that's not the case anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. I always feel like I'm getting more experience solo. Let me get on the other side of this guy.
Oh yeah, I know I get more experience solo too with my monk. It was very, very prevalent. I have never played a class like that guy before, where it's so easy to solo. I mean, Necromancer, you got to work for it. You really got to know what you're doing. You got to plan it out. You got to have the mana. With the monk, you can go into any fight, and if it doesn't work out, I'll just feint it off and bend. You know, you're ready to go back in.
Yep.
So I'm kind of glad that I started with the monk and eased my way in. I think the Necromancer is another journey along that path. Or, I think he's going to propel me into one day trying out an enchanter. Because they do kind of overlap a little bit. You do have pets. You can charm with the Necromancer. Not very well, and only certain, like, undead creatures. But you can still charm. And so it's going to allow me to kind of test the waters and see if I like that aspect of the game. I think I will. I'm just not sure I'm good enough to actually do it well.
Yeah.
And since you played a bard for all the way up here, in fact, you're going to make this your new main coming up soon, how do you feel about enchanters? Is that something you ever think maybe you make as a main?
I have actually been thinking about doing an enchanter, but then again, I kind of want to work on this character. I also have a shaman who's level 19 now, I believe. And then, of course, my actual mains have been playing Ogre a lot lately as well. But whenever I see a lot, it is probably maybe an hour or two between playing my 4 or 5 hours as a permadeath character.
Right, yeah, you've been definitely enjoying that quite a bit.
Made level 12 today. Yeah. Which might not seem a lot, because if I was a twinked version of my character, I would have been level 12 already. Would have already bought all my bone chips, bought all the crushed bone belts, and bought all the scalps, and bought all the ears, so that I wouldn't have to deal with leveling like a normal person.
That's what I was going to ask you, though. Do you feel, because you are playing it a lot slower and a lot more dangerously, because if you die, you lose your character, do you feel like when you get a level, you're like, oh, yeah, like you earned that? Like you were really
Oh, yeah.
happy.
You definitely feel it. Because for me, the crushed bone belts, I sold mine just because of the fact that I need money to gear my character to be able to move on. Like right now, I have a Sword of Skyfire. I have a Scarab breastplate, helm, and boots. I have blackened chain leggings. So, I mean, it may not seem like a lot, but those things, the Scarab portions, they cost me money to do that quest. So that was about 3 or 4 plat during a time when 3 or 4 plat was all I had. So it's definitely a challenge, and it definitely makes you respect and care for every penny that you have.
Do you think trade skills would come in more play? I think, if the game was actually real, like in real life, again, we go back to like Sword Art Online. If you died in the game, you died in real life. If you had that kind of system set up, do you feel like people would be doing trade skills a lot more in town because it'd be safer?
We are doing more trade skills. Like myself and Memo, we're doing blacksmithing. We have people who are doing tailoring to make the backpacks to sell those. It's not so much trade skilling for making better equipment for yourself. It's more of making a living so that you can afford to advance your character. And the better gear you get, the better that you will probably live. And being that the only money that we can have is what we earn, it makes it even more special and more important for us to try to stay alive. I mean, everything I do on my paladin, if I feel like I'm gonna die and I don't have lay of hands up and I'm at 50%, I'm running at 50%. I'm not gonna wait for a 30% or a 20%. Even depending on the mob, I might even run earlier than that just so that I can make sure I'm at a zone line.
Right. It just sounds really cool, man. It sounds like very, very role-play-ish. You know, you don't see a lot of people role-playing anymore, and like you're getting into the way the game. I say the way the game is meant to be played. The way I think the game should have been played, as in you should be fearful of the unknown, fearful of the death, because it adds that suspense, it adds that drama to the game, and it gives you another aspect that some people just kind of bypass. Because once you get twinked out. I can speak from experience on this guy. He's a beast. He's so hard to get killed that unless I'm doing something stupid, he just doesn't really die. And you do miss out on that excitement. That's what like raids kind of take the place of when you get to those high levels and you have all that gear.
We have raids already set up that once we get to certain levels, we're gonna raid Varsoon, who's killed most of our people.
Can you imagine?
Raid the rabid bear in Kino's Hills as well. I mean, we have those kind of raids. We're not going to be doing raids like going into a dungeon so that we can all die.
Yeah, but can you imagine though if you go on a raid with that guild and somebody dies like that?
Oh yeah,
people are going to be mourning. People would be crying. You got somebody sitting in the corner sobbing and can't get out of bed the next day. That's going to be rough. Like you're gonna really see that.
10 men enter. 4-man leaves.
Oh man, that would suck so bad.
We understand the way this guild is, and if we didn't understand it, we probably wouldn't have people playing it. But we have over 50 people in the guild now, so I mean, it's not anything that isn't out of the norm. So I'm kind of happy that we got people that wanted to be a part of it. And it's definitely making it a whole lot better for us.
All right, so we might want to zone this because I'm an idiot. Went out there and I forgot that Soul B was this way. When you enter the zone as an ogre, you can stand up, you can fight. If you walk past the first little hallway and get into that little cubby hole, you duck. And once you duck, you cannot unduck in this zone until you get into one of the bigger rooms. So weird that you cannot go back to your revert kind of default stage of standing as when you first enter it. But it was a little mistake I just made right there, which cost us having to zone and Cypher probably losing quite a bit of life.
Yeah, I'm zoning. I'm at 17%.
Oh my god! Well, I'll bind you up so a little bit slower, but you know, Cypher's playing his other tune. He's very used to the slower method of leveling lately.
Yeah, I actually went to Guck today. Whenever my paladin was level 11, only killing crocodiles because the froglocks liked me, and then I pulled a crocodile that made me have to lay hands. I was like, all right, that's karma telling me I need to leave. So I ended up leaving after I got lay hands off. And I was at 50% whenever I zoned out. So definitely good idea to run for the zone when you have to lay hands, no matter what your health is at afterwards, because you get that full heal. Just one of those weird things about being in that guild is that you are like hypersensitive to what's going on. Now we've had people who have died because they're not paying attention. Or we've had people die at level 1 because they're trying to take on things and they're not running like they should. But you'll learn. That's why from now on, whenever I want to play any class, I'm gonna do a permadeath roll of it and learn all the nuances of what can get me killed.
Yeah, it's definitely something kind of interesting to watch somebody who's never played a class or somebody who's never played a character that way. Because you're right. I mean, you can be very careless, go out there and die many, many times at level 1, all the way to level 6 and not lose any experience. But on
Yep.
on that kind of gameplay, you just lose your character. I have seen other games out there, very, very few, but there have been a few other games out there that have had that integrated into their game where you die, you lose everything. One that
Yep.
I saw a long, long time ago, must have been 6, 7 years now. It was an RPG just kind of like this. When you played the game all the way to the very end, anytime you died, you had like a 0.3% chance that your character would be gone when you died. Like it would just delete itself automatically.
Oh wow.
And you could lower that percentage chance with augments and some items and things of that sort, but it was always there. So you always had like a 0.01% chance of your character just disappearing on death. And I imagine even with that small percent, like that would suck. Can you imagine how many times I've died in this game with that percentage in there? I would have lost pretty much every character that I've ever had. Eventually,
Yep.
That would have happened. So it's not as severe as like just, oh, you died, you're gonna lose it for sure, but there's a chance.
Well, the thing about this is that I'm playing the game now on that paladin as if I'm going to get level 60 and I'm going to get my epic. That's how I'm playing him. So right. I'm not going to I'm not going to play him any less than that. He is going to get his epic unless he dies, and when he dies, I'll mourn the death. Right. But he's going to be deleted right there and then.
Would you guys ever consider like a maybe like a sister or brother guild that was a little less severe for other people out there that don't want to like instantly delete their character, and when they die, maybe do a random 1 through 100, and if they get anything like a 1, they delete their character, or anything like less than 15, they delete their character. That way, there's a little bit of leeway, but not as much.
I've been talking to the other guild leaders because I have another idea for a guild. It'd actually be 2 guilds, and we'd talk to our permadeath guild and see if they want to be a part of it. We'd have everybody random 1 out of 2. Or random out of 2, and if you get a 1, then you're evil, and if you're 2, then you're good. And we make 2 guilds. They're 2 opposing guilds of the equal amount of players, and every month we come together and we have a war.
That would be kind of fun to see. That'd be interesting. You talk about having a war over in the arena area.
Yeah, we'd have a war at the arena, but the rules stand except for the permadeath portion. All of our rules stand. You can't have handouts. You can't loot things that you haven't killed. Anything along those lines.
I think Evil would win. Evil has a lot more quests available, to be honest, and most of the quests they give are really good.
Oh yeah, but so if you start in the greater, or if you start in Fadar, we have tons of quests there.
All right, guys. Well, I think on that note, I don't want to make these videos too long, but on that note, I think we're going to go ahead and end the episode here. We will be picking Cypher's brain a little bit more on the ideas, because I do like evil versus good, a whole like gnome brigade on the left trying to outflank the enemies, and some tactics, maybe a general in the back sitting up on his mighty steed, although there's no horses in this one, but you guys get what I'm saying. As always, guys, I definitely want to thank all of you for watching. I'm AC Gamer.
This is Cypher Deck.
Till next time.
Peace out.
Hey guys, and welcome to the disembodied voice of AC Gamer. We are definitely going to be doing a lot more series in the future, but here are a few of them that you guys might find interesting. Of course, you're more than welcome to check them out. I would love to hear your comments. Again, if you do enjoy these videos, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe. It's definitely the indicator that I use to tell if you guys want to see more videos like that, of that particular game style, of that series in the long run. So when you guys leave comments down, it helps me decide whether we should keep doing it, as well as whether you want to see games like that in the future. And here are a few of them right here. I kind of picked out a few of different genres. We will be doing spotlights for other YouTubers in the future, so if you want to get a little shout out, definitely let me know. If you group with me, chances are you will get a shout out in here eventually. But for now, these are just 4 series that I have that I feel like could use a little bit more attention and that you guys might actually enjoy as well. Thanks again for watching, guys, and we will definitely catch you all next time.